Hi. It is that time of the year where uh, millions of students and their parents are going to get little anxious uh, regarding the careers that the students will take, as both class 12 and class 10 exams are just over and the results are expected, and especially the class 12. After class 12, most of the students and the parents would be wondering what course to take and then what careers to make, and especially the engineering education that I'm today talking about. What is the scene, what is the situation of engineering education? Because right at a time when most of the children are thinking about taking an engineering course, comes a news that over 800 engineering colleges are going to shut down in 1819, and over 27 lakh seats are going to be vacant. Not only that, employability of engineers also has gone down drastically to the extent of 7%, which means 97% of graduates who are obtaining degrees are obtaining degrees without any skills that are required by the industry. So now in such a scenario, what AICTE has done is that whichever engineering college has less than 30% of admission against the sanction intake, in last 5 years would be closed gradually. So now we need to understand number two things. One, what a parent or a student should be looking at when making a choice of engineering college. At the same time, what engineering college should be doing to improve their performance, efficiency, and brand value. The first thing first, what is important for a parent is that do not go by your education consultant's advice. Do not go by whatever is advertised claim of engineering college in any of this engineering or education fairs and exhibitions. Okay? Then what you should go by? Please ensure that the engineering college has NAAC, NAAC accreditation, because of all this quality degradation over the years. All India Council of Technical Education has made it mandatory for all engineering colleges to get accredited by National Assessment and Accreditation Council. There are various grades, A++, A, whatever. Okay, please ensure that the college has an accreditation. Apart from that, ensure that whatever branch of engineering the student is taking admission has an accreditation by NBA. While NAAC accreditation is the entire institute, while NBA accreditation is for the particular course. For example, if the child wants to take an admission, say in electronics or in mechanical engineering, that particular discipline of engineering branch, Department of Mechanical Engineering or Department of Electronics Engineering, that particular engineering branch would be given an accreditation by National Board of Accreditation. So then, in such institutions, you are safe. Otherwise, what? Because most of the engineering colleges, or majority of them, do not have neither the NAAC nor the NBA. Then what next? So that is exactly where the gray area lies. That's why the AICTE has come down drastically heavily on these engineering colleges, saying that they will close the engineering colleges with less than 30% of admission. Okay. Now, how do you ensure that these non-NAAC, non-NBA colleges are credible? So in that case, do not just blindly take admission. Visit the campus. Go to the particular branch where your child wants to take up whichever course he wants to take up. Ensure everything, the faculty, the laboratories, everything is in place. Then only take an admission. Here I must tell you one more thing, because one more important factor, especially to children and parents. while making a choice for taking engineering as a course, if your ranking is in above, say around 40% or 50%, even 50% of the ranking, then okay, you consider that. But if it is below that, if say, for example, if your rank is below the 50 percentile of the merits, then I would advise seriously not to consider engineering at all, because probably that is not your aptitude. It's not that everybody needs to be an engineer. It's not that everybody needs to be a doctor. If you are not in your 12 years of education, if you are not fell in love with mathematics and science, you are unlikely to fall in love with engineering now. It's too late for that. Probably your talent and your skill, your aptitude lies elsewhere. Please focus elsewhere. Do not take engineering or any professional course or any course for that matter under parental pressure. And the parents, please do not force the children to take what you want them to take. Allow them to explore what they want to. If they are not studied, if they are not developed a liking for mathematics and science in last 12 years of education, they will not develop that love and affection towards science and mathematics overnight. It's not going to happen. You are going to end up one of those 97% engineers who will be unemployable. Because more important is the aptitude. When the aptitude is lacking, no college can do work miracles on the student. You cannot make an unwilling student to learn what he does not love. All right, that apart. Now, let's come back to why these colleges, there are 27 lakh engineering seats are lying vacant, we just said. And why so? And why is that many engineering colleges have admission below 30% against intake? For example, the intake for, if there are 3 branches of engineering, if the intake is say around 60 each, that's 180, 30% of that is how much? 54, only 54 seats. That's really sad. So now what causes this kind of a sad situation? Now, what has happened is, even in Karnataka, there are the average, I'm talking about the latest data on intake versus admission. All over the state, the average admission efficiency, admissions is around 60%, whereas there are over 40 engineering colleges who are in the region of 30 and below. So they have the problematic colleges. Now, why is, and one more thing, no engineering colleges in Karnataka has 100% admission, which means nobody has attracted enough students to take all their seats. Okay? So now, where are the things going wrong? I'm talking now from the institutional point of view. This is so far was an advisory for the students and the parents. Now, what is wrong with the institutions? Where the colleges are going wrong? First and the foremost, most engineering colleges, at least in Karnataka that I know of, are run by either politicians or their cronies. And probably a professionally running of an institution is not the topmost priority there right from the start. Maybe there were other extraneous factors. Okay, there were a lot of religious institutions also which are in engineering education in Karnataka. So now, why is this? Why is this sad situation in engineering colleges? It's a story in any engineering college in this bottom 40% that I'm telling about. The same situation prevails in all private engineering colleges who have this problem of deficient admissions. One, there is no professional management, neither either the top boss, the management itself is not professional, or the professional management level, that also is not professional, or they are not serious about it. Let's understand now what happens in these bottom 40% of the engineering colleges in Karnataka. Essentially, you are getting students who are despite all the warnings, despite all the experts advise that students should not be forced, eventually students will be forced. Even if they get 60% in their PCMB, they will be forced to take engineering, and their ranking will be very low. And those are the students who will land here. In the bottom 40%, those are the students who have not studied well till 12th standard are going to land up in these colleges. To whatever extent, whether it is 30%, 40% of the intake, that whatever matters. And most of them are going to be management seats. Now understand here, you are getting an extremely, extremely misfit kind of a students here, in the sense that they have no aptitude towards engineering. They do not have even skills, prerequisites in science and mathematics. Imagine if a student has scored around 60% in maths and science, especially physics and mathematics. It's not a great thing, it's not a great thing for to build an engineer upon. Now, mind you, again, these engineering colleges are managed by VIPs. There are, even some ministers are behind this. Now, even then, why the admissions is low? These ministers or the politicians are socially well connected. They could at least tell the PU colleges that they know, the 12th, whichever college has 12 programs, they could tell them to send their students there. They don't do that. Okay, hardly, an average engineering college would be having about what, around 480. That is the intake. So even then, it's not happening. These very people who are socially very collected, popular leaders, cannot, by their own strength, refer enough students to fill their intake. What does it mean? Instead, what they are doing is they are relying on education consultants. They are relying on, what are these educational consultants? They are nothing but commission agents. They charge a certain amount of, a certain percentage of the fees as commissions to fill your seats. And this happens at the management quota level. Now, if your own popular appeal is not bringing in students, then what's the point? You are relying on these commission agents. Now, one thing. Another is, what is happening is, because you have no commitment, you have no real dedication towards it, you may give an excuse that there is no enough number of admission, whatever. That's eventually an excuse. You have started an institution, you must demonstrate complete dedication and commitment to it. If not, what happens is that you will be making that an excuse to have deficient faculty, both in terms of the number of faculty, both in terms of quantity and quality. So that eventually leads to what? You have a bad input, you have provided a bad faculty. Actually, in the topmost engineering colleges, the faculty quality, okay, fine, but what is input? Your input quality itself is great. So students are capable of learning on their own, and it is easier to teach them because they want to be engineers and they are focused on that. They have an aptitude. Here at the bottom 40% or 50% of the college, what's happening is that the students have no aptitude, okay, they have no prerequisites, and you need higher efforts to make them into successful, employable engineers. For that, you need really high-end, high-quality faculty, which you are not hiring. What you do is, despite the AICTE faculty ratio of 1:20, that's never maintained, number one. Number two, even whatever faculty you recruit, you are paying them peanuts. You are not paying them right salary. Actually, this is the faculty, in this engineering colleges, the faculty needs to be paid more than the AICTE pay scales because they are expected to put in harder work in molding a really employable engineer from a student who has no aptitude. Important thing, for an engineering institution, engineering college, is that head of institution needs to be a brand ambassador and a face which can attract students, from, if not across the state, at least within that state. Somebody who is well-known academician or somebody who is known for his thinking, or so that he can attract, and that head of the institution needs to be given proper tenure, proper facilities, and proper freedom. If in my using my own networking and using my own face value, if I get the students into the college, then I need to be given complete freedom till the students pass successfully to implement engineering education in the institution completely. Now for that I need complete academic, administrative and financial freedom that no college gives. They are only hiring principals and the other faculty as incidental staff for education. So this is the root cause. This is the root cause, because an engineering college needs to be run by academicians, not by politicians. Let's focus on what needs to be done in this 40% of the lower 40% of engineering colleges, so that they become more employable, or at least decently skilled engineers who can find their own job, or they can get self-employment. Like I was saying, in this segment, there is a huge need of creating an enabling environment both for academic excellence as well as soft skill excellence. Okay, let's talk about academic excellence. First and foremost thing is that the students need to be taught the entire syllabus. It needs to be, there has to be a mechanism of drill. You need to have that complete information that must be drilled into the students, and that requires a higher effort. And there has to be a research and innovation climate on the campus. That happens when you build a climate of academic freedom. What has happened is that in many of these engineering colleges, the climate is not academic. It has become more clerical. It has become, the faculty is asked to do lots of clerical work, and there is hardly any scope. Like I said, they are paid half of what they deserve, and there is no motivation. So this needs to be addressed. And English. That's an important factor in employability. In none of the engineering colleges, neither the faculty speaks good English, and hence even the students are not trained in using good communicative English. Faculty, the administrative staff, not at all, because employers will assess the students in 5 minutes after they open their mouth. It's not about what you know, it's about how you communicate. That is totally lacking. We are not doing that in any of the engineering colleges. And what is more important is that none of the engineering colleges have industry partnerships. We need to have constant industry partnerships with not only industry bodies. For example, if there is a civil engineering department, a department of civil engineering can have partnership with certain construction companies, some infrastructure companies, so that there is always a give and take. Okay? But that is not explored. And why this is not being explored? Again, I'm talking about only lower 40%, because the faculty is not motivated, and the faculty is not motivated because they are underpaid. There are no right work conditions, and when there are no right work conditions, there is no motivation. They won't do it, because you have not employed somebody who is willing to work out of motivation. You have hired somebody who has agreed to work out of some personal helplessness. That's all. So this leads to high attrition, because that there is a continuing employee discontent, and that leads to attrition, in the sense there's no retention. If you look at engineering colleges of the bottom 40%, no faculty stays there for 2 years, more than 2 years. So when there is no continuity, the best gauge of an engineering college that in India or elsewhere is that how long the faculty stays with you. In the best of the colleges that I know of, the faculty, many of the faculty have joined that college and they are retired from that college because that college has provided them with best of the facilities and the work conditions. Okay, like complete AICTE salary and complete academic freedom, right? That is most important, and also less of administrative intervention and less of clerical work. The faculty needs to be given more academic freedom and they should be given more scope for academic work. Only then there is an involvement. Only then there could a sustainable research and consultancy activity in the department. So that leads to a hands-on training for the students as well. So these are some of the reasons, okay, that I think of in engineering education. I hope it was useful for you. Thank you.